So before we get started with tonight's weather update, I just want to look at yesterday's thunderstorm again coming into New York Harbor. And this is when the thunderstorm was at its most intense, the severe thunderstorm. And you can see here, looking at this shelf cloud and it's starting to loom in the distance, you can see the winds are really, and just really impressive looking shelf cloud here. Really, really beautiful, actually, quite beautiful. That's quite spectacular. I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but these storms are really, even though they fizzled when they got to us, I mean, for the city, they were really impressive. Beautiful lightning strike right there. Did you see that? Another one. So yeah, some very impressive. Again, looking back at that storm yesterday, really just the city really got. It was quite beautiful, and I have some more screen grabs from the Earth Cam. You can see we even got some pretty nice lightning strikes there. Look at that. That's beautiful. That is just absolutely beautiful. Um, some more. Another one right here. You can see right off one side right there. And sometimes you get them out ahead of the shelf cloud. Another one here. It's a nice, right hitting the water right there. And then you saw more in the video too. It was pretty incredible. And then another one in the inside the actual storm itself. But anyway, yeah, really impressive. But as far as today goes, today was, like I said, it wasn't too bad today. It was kind of warm. Definitely see some of that haze in the air, too, that we had. Some of it, along with some cirrus, of course. You can also see that there are some storms off to the west there, but you can also see that haze. It's a little bit of it, but it was a little noticeable today. If you looked at the sky today, you could see kind of hazy, not a nice blue sky at all. And, yeah, there are some storms that are popping up off to the west. I always forget something. Put the AccuWeather up. Weather radar up just to take a look at those storms there, and you can see that's quite a line there. That's in actually two lines. There's one in northwestern Pennsylvania, and then another one that is going through Toledo, Ohio, and Detroit area right now. So, yeah, this is kind of the border of. You could say this is kind of almost like a warm front. Where the warmer air is going to start coming on in. So if we look at the weather and hazards map. You'll see this large area of heat here in the Midwest as well as the Northeast, and we even have a Severe thunderstorm watch in effect for the Great Lakes, and that looks like a tornado warning right there. Not showing up. That looks like a tornado warning there in Michigan, I think. So, yeah, a lot of severe thunderstorms there, and there's a couple of warnings out in Pennsylvania. But you'll notice in our area, it's all about the heat, heat advisories, and even excessive heat warning for New York City and northern New Jersey. That's right, an excessive. It's going to be in effect from 11 a.m. Thursday to 9 p.m. on Friday. We also have the air quality alert as well. And as for us, we're going to have the heat advisory in effect from 11 a.m. Thursday to 9 p.m. Friday, along with air quality alerts as well. So it's not a good situation. It's pretty brutal. And excessive heat watches also in effect for much of the I-95 corridor. So the heat is really going to build. Today wasn't that bad, but it's going to be a lot worse come tomorrow. And it's already kind of mild out there, but there is a breeze out there. And if you're on the South Shore, it's actually not too bad if we can get these temperatures to load. So you'll see if you're on the South Shore, not too bad. It's a little bit better out. Yeah, 75. But if you're further west, 79 at Farmingdale. So it's not really much. It's just that's the same temperature that I have in my alley. 75 at JFK. Notice the dew points have risen again. So definitely feeling a lot more humid out there. Let's go and see what the day was like at Islip, where it's 77 with a dew point of 70. And you'll see here, Islip, temperatures got into the mid-80s today. You'll see we had a northwest wind to start, and the dew points were a little lower, and then the wind shifted to the southwest, and that kind of brought in higher the dew points. But look at that, another little period of drier air there in the afternoon. It seemed like there was like little dips in the dew points, and then the dew points came up again, so it was kind of going back and forth a little bit. But you could see here that the winds definitely did become southwesterly later on in the day. So let's take a look and see what our highs were. And the highs across Long Island, 88 at Farmingdale, 86 at Islip, 84 as you head out east, and then as you go further west, you go 90 at LaGuardia, 84 at JFK, Jersey getting around 90 as well. Just curious about what the Central Park. Central Park was only 86, but yeah, pretty warm day, but it's not going to be nothing compared to tomorrow. And lows overnight, we're actually gotten in the mid-60s, 59 actually at West Hampton, the more urban areas, only around 70, and mid-60s in New Jersey. Won't be seeing lows this low for a number of days. And we'll be lucky to get out of the 80s here in hell, the urban hellhole that I'm in. But maybe some of the areas on the South Shore might actually get into the 70s. But as far as where I'm at, we'll probably have lows in the 80s. So let's go look at a few more things before I finish this. I want to go look at precipitation here and just talk about the rainfall that occurred yesterday. We'll put this on the 48 hours because some of those thunderstorms did bring some heavy rain to parts of New Jersey, actually, central New Jersey, as well as parts of Monmouth County, getting over 2 inches in some areas here. So some of those areas wound up getting a lot of rain from those storms, but again, our area didn't see that much rain from them. So let's go to the back to the high temperatures here, and we'll show you the highs across the country again, so you get an idea again of the heat that's coming toward us. Pull this out a little more here. Pull this out a lot more actually, so we can take a look at this. You can see heat advisories stretch all the way from all the way up there, and even some excessive heat watches are in effect too. Let's see if we can load these highs. Here we go. So look at how far north this is. So I'm just going to take the opacity down a little bit. Because that opacity is just too much. It's hard to see the towns. But you can see Kansas City, 103. I mean, it's still 90 in Topeka right now. I mean, 100 in Nebraska for a high. Even all the way up into South Dakota, 104 in Sioux Falls. And even Bismarck, 101 at Bismarck. I'm wondering if that's an all-time record. I don't know if it's ever gotten that hot there. That I do not know. That I do not know. That I do not know. What we can do, we'll pull out on the AccuWeather. I'm going to close this And sometimes it usually will have some stories. Baltimore could hit temperature benchmark not reached in years. There's nothing about records, but I'm wondering if that's a record for Bismarck there. That's insane right there. That's just insane. So we're going to look at that later. Let's go back to this. Really just crazy heat, and look how far north it goes. I mean, it even goes into Canada. I mean, you still have some of the heat going there, though not quite as bad in Canada as it is in the Midwest. It's in the Great Plains. It's just incredible, the heat that's just built there, and that's the heat that we're going to see. This is what's heading our way. I'll just showing you so you get an idea of what is actually heading our way here. So the hundreds kind of go all the way up the whole Midwest here, and this dome is going to be pushing east into the eastern U.S. and the Northeast, and that's what we're going to get into. And it's pretty darn brutal, I got to say. So let's go to the Weather Service page here, and you can see they have the oppressive heat and humidity. We went over this yesterday already, Thursday through Saturday. And you can see these are the heat indexes that we're going to be dealing with tomorrow. It's going to be humid. And yes, we also have a threat for storms tomorrow as well, late Thursday afternoon to the evening as well. It looks like they put us in a slight risk for severe weather as well. So, yeah, we're going to have that too. So tomorrow could be rather eventful. Let's go to the Storm Prediction Center right now. As you can see, there's that slight risk that's over the Great Lakes, surrounded by a marginal risk. But if we move it into tomorrow, you see our whole area gets put in the slight risk for severe weather because we have a very unstable atmosphere. That is, we have a little bit of a disturbance that's going to come through. So it's going to help trigger some strong to likely severe thunderstorms. So tomorrow could be another active day. If we didn't get into it yesterday, maybe we'll get into it tomorrow, perhaps. So let's go look at the climate statistics for today. Let's go here. Local past weather. So 86 degrees was the high at Islip. So that was 3 degrees above normal. So 1 degree above normal. Not really dramatically above normal at Islip. Central Park got up to 87. Again, near normal for the most part. Not really dramatically above normal. Tomorrow will be a different story for sure. You know, I'm kind of curious about Bismarck, North Dakota. Let's see. I don't know why it doesn't have North Dakota here. Oh, there it is. I'm just curious if they had a record set, if that was a record for the day. There had to be a record for the day here. Though I don't see anything on. Go to their Twitter, which is now technically X. Yeah, they call it X now. It's so stupid. I'm just curious if they broke a record. And actually, they have some severe thunderstorms around in that area now. So, looks like they've got some thunderstorms as well. I'm just curious if they broke that record or not. Because that had to be incredible. The unofficial high temperature at the Bismarck Airport so far is 101 degrees. This is the first time Bismarck has hit 100 or more this year, and the first time since September 1st of last year. Okay, so I guess it's not that unusual for them to hit 100 that far north. It's kind of interesting. I thought it was kind of unusual. But yeah, there are some storms around there as well. If we go back to the radar, well, you'll see them here on this radar here. There are some storms east of Bismarck, so they're isolated in nature. So let's go to the models now, and you see this big ridge here building, and you see this little disturbance come on through, all right? You know, it's the isobars kind of close together, so there's going to be, tomorrow's going to be breezy. It's the only saving grace that will have a decent amount of wind. And then you'll see Friday, we have the isobars are a little further apart, and it's going to be more of a west flow, and that's going to make it more brutal. And then Saturday, that's when the cold front comes through, and that could also trigger some severe thunderstorms as well. Sunday, we finally get out of it, and then for next week, we have a high pressure that's going to try to build in and bring us some cooler weather for us. And I'm not really going to go too much into the long range on this weather update. You're going to have to wait till the weekend for that. Let's go to the HRRR. Look at the 0ZHRRR. See what it does with this line of storms here. So I'm guessing this is the thing that's going to help trigger something for tomorrow. So this is the HRRR. You can see we're still fine in the afternoon. You can see the line starting to get going here. Late afternoon, it's developing some scattered severe thunderstorms very scattered in nature. It's not really widespread, but you can see it's almost like a little trough line that's coming through. It's really just going to shift the winds over more to the west, which is going to make it even hotter on Friday. But you'll see that there are some scattered again. This is toward the afternoon, so we're going to have to keep an eye on this and see what happens. This is again toward the afternoon, and then Friday it sets the stage for it to be that much hotter. Unfortunately, we only have 38 frames of this, so the model's being kind of slow with this. But let's go look at your dew points and wind flow as far as tomorrow goes. You'll see some pretty strong southwesterly winds. Now, there's enough of a southwesterly component that it might help us on Long Island for a little bit at least, avoid the worst. But I don't know. So much in central Nassau, I think we're going to see the 90s. But if you're on the south shore, you might be able to escape the 90s. Or out east, I still think Islip's probably going to hit 90, but then it'll drop off when the sea breeze comes in. Or that, or the storms will cool things off. But you notice when the storms come through and that little line comes through, you see the winds go more to the west. And look at Friday. Northwest winds. This is as far as it goes, but there's no sea breeze at all on Friday, and that's what's going to make Friday that much more brutal, I think. Looking at your temperatures here on the HRRR model, you'll see the HRRR seems to think that at least Suffolk County will avoid the 90s, and only Nassau is going to have to deal with them. Again, I think this might be a little too conservative, but it does have, you see that bright hot pink color. That means upper 90s to around 100, which could be possible in my area as well as the city and New Jersey. If you're on the South Shore or further east, you'll avoid that fate. And then that's as far as we're going to have as far as the temperatures go. We'd have to go to the GFS if we want to look a little further here into Friday's heat. But this is the GFS, and you see it's a little more spread out with the heat. Because if we look at the wind flow, I think it's got a bit more of a westerly component, more of like a west-southwesterly component you see here on the GFS for tomorrow. All right, and then that trough line comes through, shifts the winds over to the west. Friday, killer west winds with no sea breeze at all. We're not going to have any sea breeze at all on Friday. That's probably going to make it the worst day. And then Saturday, here comes the cold front. Again, west-southwest winds. Cold front comes through. And then Sunday, wow, dew points drop into the 40s, so a lot better. And then we're going to have that nice air mass for the following week of the first days of August. So we'll definitely be a lot better, but we got to go through hell to get to heaven. Let's look at the high temperatures again. So here it is. And again, at night, it's not really going to drop that much below the 70s. Especially, well, tomorrow night, I don't think we're going to get below the 80s in my area. Maybe some 70s out in Suffolk County and maybe the South Shore. So here we go into Friday, and you can see, look at that. I think Friday is going to be the hottest day. I think we could see 100 degrees. I think it's a good bet that it could be 100 degrees in a good part of Long Island with that with no sea breeze. I think upper 90s to around 100 is likely. And Friday is going to be the worst day of it. It's going to be absolutely brutal. And, man, I hope this air conditioner can survive because I think that it might break. We're going to really be pushing it hard. But I have to. I don't have a choice. And then Saturday, you'll see we have a little more clouds around, I think, so maybe we'll have mid-90s. But then we finally end it Sunday. We finally, look at that, highs only, perhaps not even reaching 80 degrees. And look at that, nice and cool for next week. So we will get a reward after the end of this heat. Let's go look at the skies. Yeah, I want to look at the NAM, too. That's right. It kind of reminds me of that. So the skies, obviously, tomorrow. We'll have a high clouds around. Same thing for Friday. It'll be hazy, but there will be sun, obviously. Same thing Saturday. And then we can push this off to the south, and we can have nice weather for Sunday. And maybe we won't even have smoke, which would really be nice. So, yeah, let me go back over to the NAM model here, and we'll get the 18Z NAM. It's the only one I have to work with. Let's look at how what the NAM does with these storms for tomorrow. And you can see, yeah, this has a line. This has a line coming through around 8. But you can see some pretty significant storms here that could come through, though. Again, it does that thing where it gaps out over the city. You know, that could happen again, and again, the northern piece or the southern piece might hold together. You have a better chance of storms if you're in New Jersey, but I still think there's a good chance of storms tomorrow. There's not going to be much of again, depending on where you are and how that sea breeze sets up. Now, if there is a strong sea breeze on Long Island, it would help to at least, maybe minimize it for the South Shore, but the North Shore might get hit hard. We'll have to see what happens. And as far as Friday goes, it is popping up an isolated heat of the day storm over Jersey. But other than that, nothing crazy. So I'll go to the RGM now. Again, we're gonna be concerned about that severe threat for tomorrow. Here's the RGM, and again, just showing you some scattered high clouds until the thunderstorms develop, and then you'll see the cumulonimbus filling the sky. And then for Friday, sunshine. Not showing much in the way of clouds at all. Could be hazy, but it's not showing much in the way of clouds at all. And then Saturday, we'll see the clouds come in from that front. Yeah, we got absolutely brutal days coming up. So let's look at. Let's go to the smoke model just for the heck of it. I look at the vertically integrated smoke here. Just to show you what's going on here. And you see, the smoke's really not going to be that much of an issue. It's mostly, again, in that Western Canada area. There's a lot of it in Western Canada. And some on the West Coast. Let's go back to the satellite. I could look at the northern. I really don't want to. I'm not going to be bringing up the smoke for the next couple of days. We're really just going to talk about the heat. But let's look at this. So yeah, you can see all the smoke over there in Canada. That you can't see, and there's this. This might kick off some thunderstorms, which might start other wildfires in Quebec. But right now, it's really looking quite obvious to me as what's happening in the west. So if we look at the Pacific Northwest right now, yeah, that fire, right? Actually, we've got another one now in Idaho. So we have another big wildfire going on in Idaho, if you note here. And again, we don't have the MODIS, but you'll see. Look. This is Idaho right here. Look what happens here. That just explodes right there. So we've got another one right over there. Yeah, Idaho is now dealing with wildfires. Oregon, it's really bad. It's really a bad situation now in the West. So, we'll be done with smoke at some point in the future, but I'm not going to be talking about it for the next couple of days. The heat is our main immediate threat right now. Let me go over to Vent2Sky and let's go and look at the thunderstorm threat for tomorrow before I end this video. We'll just look at some Cape levels. Yeah, it's up there. 8, 11. Oh, yeah. The atmosphere is pretty unstable. Very unstable tomorrow. So, yeah, there's some pretty high Cape levels. So we will have to watch for a thunderstorm development. Just it's going to be so hot. You have so much energy in the atmosphere. If we look at this model here, as far as temperatures go, this is the HRRR that we're looking at here. This is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You'll see it shows low to mid-90s. On further out east, it only has 80s. Most of the heat's in the city. Now, that does showing a sea breezer, some kind of thing, so it might help bring some relief, but my area is still going to blaze. The South Shore will be the place to be. It's going to be hot on the North Shore. But, yeah, it is showing that heat. Here's, and again, 4 o'clock. You'll see, again, that heat. So, again, if you're on the South Shore, it's going to be a lot better versus the North Shore and the middle of the island are going to just be horrible. And Suffolk County is also going to be a lot better as well. And, again, the other thing we could do to show you instability is a lifted index, not helicity, but lifted index here. And that's through the roof. So, yeah, that's why we have that threat. So, tomorrow, we will have to watch out for the thunderstorms. I'm concerned about that. Friday, here's Friday looks like. I think this is being underestimated. I think it's going to be hotter than this. So, yeah, it's going to be a dreadful couple of days, but maybe we'll at least get some good storms out of it. So, that is it. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. Stay cool, and pray for me because I'm living in hell. It's just too damn hot here. It's not so much Mineola. It's my block. Like I said, tonight it doesn't feel that bad, but when I get to my block, I'm just dying here. It's just the way this block is designed. This neighborhood is this is a horrible, horrible neighborhood. Unless you like the heat, this is not really the place for you. You get a breeze by the train station when you come here. It's just horrible. But I'm just saying, I envy the people who don't have to live in a hot neighborhood like this. You're lucky. in a hot apartment with windows that face an alley. It's going to be. I'm concerned. This is going to be the hottest weather we've had since I've moved here, so I'm very concerned. But that is all. Thanks for watching. Good night, and stay cool.